was with the Olympic team. We were in a tour in Holland, and we had some games, and some of the teams saw me play and everything, and I think they might have been interested. So my college team at the same time happened to be traveling to Germany for preseason. So I was in Germany with my college team, and I got contacted by one of the clubs, and they said, we'd like to offer you a contract. And for me, it was a shock. I really didn't plan on it. At the same time, though, it seemed like it was a good opportunity for me. So, I went to the club. I met with the people there. They gave me an offer, and I decided that I was ready to do it. I played for smaller teams in the first division that we take on the big teams. So I remember on several occasions beating Ajax, playing, and at that time they were top of the world. They were one of the best teams in the world. Great games against Bayern Munich, or the relegation, the promotion battles where you're playing on the last day for survival. And there were some great memories. In Kopos, we got promoted on the last day of the season by winning 3-1 against the team, and that was a memorable game. We had a great mix of guys in that World Cup. It was basically the right players at the right time. It was guys at perfect ages to where they were able to offer something specific for their age. I remember Landon, he was so young and so almost naive that he just went out and played. He didn't even faze him at all. He just went out and played. He was free. And then you have older guys like Ernie Stewart, Kobe were on the team. And then you had a bunch of guys that are almost, where you can characterize it as like the prime of their careers. So it was a perfect mix, and those games were a culmination of that time period. And I think specifically against Mexico, it was a hot day. Mexico was playing extremely well in that tournament, and it was a huge accomplishment to be able to beat them, and especially beat them 2-0, get a shutout, and completely basically stifle them. So it was pretty special. And then Germany obviously have the team that made it to the finals and a world power in soccer, and we, for the most part, dominated them in a quarterfinal game in a World Cup. So that was, they were definitely memorable games. Every player who's over there gets to a point where things aren't going that great, and you start wondering, hey, should I come back now? And as I got older, I started to think, well, am I going to be here forever? Am I going to end up living here? Am I going to raise my kids in another country? So then it started towards the end of my career there in Europe, I started to think about, well, maybe it's time now to start thinking about coming home. The first thing was, where would I go? Where would I play? And in my mind, there was only a couple places that would fit, and this was one of them. And I think that, Bruce reached out to me and he said, what do you think about this possibility? And the timing was right. I was familiar with a lot of guys on the team. I was good friends with a lot of guys on the team. I played with them for a long time, so it was the right fit. Obviously, after the injuries, I thought about, maybe that would have been my last year, and it was a big decision. And I think that making the decision, was made easier by Bruce, because he came to me and he said, well, listen, I'm pretty sure you want to be a coach after your career. That's where you want to go. What do you think about this possibility? This is the general concept. You'd be an assistant coach and you'd be a player. And I thought about it for a while, and I said, I think it's a chance worth taking. It's been great, in terms of my responsibilities, it's just like an assistant coach would be. There's editing stuff to do, there's training input to give, there's a lot of things that go on that it's gaining valuable experience being a part of. I definitely, want to be a coach. So I think that, there's a process that you go through to become a coach, and I think that, I have to fulfill that process, and I have to learn, and I think it's been a great start for me here, being able to learn and see what it's like behind the scenes, and learn from, obviously, the highest regarded coach that the U.S. has ever had in soccer. So I'm lucky, and I think that, part of my job, as the year closes in, is to take as much as I can in, to learn as much as I can about the craft of coaching, so that I can be prepared for, to make the step.